Hello YouTube, it's MG here, and right now I'm not wearing any makeup and my hair's just like a mess. But I really wanted to do a get ready with me chit chat to kind of like talk about my New Year's Eve resolutions. So right now I'm just going to like paint my nails, which I know it's not like the most fun thing to watch. First I'm applying like a OPI base coat. I love wearing a base coat because I feel like it protects your nails from becoming yellow, and it does help like for a better like even application of the color, and also I don't know, it's like easier to remove nail polish, and but at the same time it makes it last longer. But yeah, I really wanted to talk about my New Year's resolutions because I don't know, like I guess 2019 is a big year for me. Like 6 months ago, 2018 June, I finished law school, and that was a big deal for me because like I literally finished studying. Like I finally had like a career for myself. And yeah, so kind of like the question that I asked myself at that point was like, what happens next? Because you know, my life all the time, I was always a really good student, so my life has always been like, I'm sorry that I'm looking down, but I'm just like painting my nails. But yeah, where was I? Oh yeah, so my whole life I've been like going to school, doing extracurriculars. I was always like having, I wouldn't say a lot of extracurriculars, I usually just had one or two, but they were very time consuming for me, and I don't know. So my life was always kind of like laid out for me, and the first big decision that I had to make was, you know, when it came down to like what I want to be when I grow up, and I decided to be a lawyer, which is great. But you know, like that was the first decision I made. So after I was done with law school, I was like, yeah, this is it. I'm done with, I wouldn't say like life, but that was like the peak of like my academic life, and it was over. So I asked myself like, what's next? And which leads me to my first New Year's Eve resolution, which I have like two main ones, which are the ones that I'm going to like touch on first. So the first one is to get my dissertation. So even though I finished law school, I still have to get my dissertation in order to get my law degree. So basically I have to prepare a dissertation and present a test with 3 faculty members, like the director of my dissertation and the like 2 other teachers that I choose. Like it's good that I get to choose them, but I don't know, it's kind of a scary thing to do. Because your dissertation is very, very big. I don't know, you have to add a ton of sources, and there's like certain requirements of the sources, so they have to be like books instead of, you have to have a certain number of books, you have to have a certain number of like secondary sources, which are like websites and that sort of thing, and also you need to add like general research sources or something like that, which is like dictionaries and encyclopedias. So there's definitely a lot of work to be done. And I'm being very discouraged with my dissertation because I was like determined to finish it early. But I mean, I kind of struggle with it, first of all because like I was working on it, I was doing great, but I started struggling with health problems. So I was struggling with like my cardiac frequency and like blood pressure were low, so I was like fainting all the time, and you know, my blood sugar was very low. My like red blood cell and white cell count at a certain moment were like not right. Like I don't know, sometimes like my white blood cell count was like really high, sometimes like my red blood cell count was very low. And I also got diagnosed with cysts in my ovaries, so I have like polycystic ovaries, which I mean, to me it's a bit scary because being a mom was always, like, I don't know, I don't want to have kids anytime soon, but I always kind of thought that in the future I would have kids, you know. And at a certain point in my life, I got injured doing ballet. Like, I was a ballet dancer, and, well, not just a ballet dancer, but I was a dancer and I got injured. And at a certain point, I had to make the decision to undergo, I was going like laser treatment and stuff because I got a sprained like muscle like in my thigh. First I got like the sciatic nerve pinched, and then I got like basically that caused, like, I didn't notice, like, I was feeling pain, but you know, when you're a dancer, you know that you're always in pain, like, and it's like the good kind of pain. You're in pain because you're stretching, you're in pain because you're like working out. So, you know, I didn't pay much attention to it, and then at a point, like, my muscles were so swollen in my leg that they ripped. Well, is it a sprain, a strain? I don't know. Yeah, basically, as I was saying, I got my sciatic nerve, like my sciatica. I don't know. I had a pinched sciatica. I think that's the right word for it. And yeah, so I was in pain, but you know, as a dancer, you're always in pain. So I didn't pay much attention to it. I just felt like, you know, I'm working super hard. I just went on to like the next level. So it makes sense that I'm in pain. Like, I'm working really, really hard. And like, I'm really pushing myself with flexibility. So I don't know. I kind of didn't pay attention to it, and basically that caused, like, the fact that the nerve was pinched, that I was doing nothing to stop it, that caused my like the muscles in my leg, because the sciatica then divides into like different like nervous ramifications that feed or like control like all the muscles in the front of your leg and in the back of your leg. So yeah, they were so swollen. So one day, I remember it very well, it was a Saturday. So on Saturdays we had like a very strenuous class, because we do class, I think it was, I'm not sure if it was like 9 a.m. or 8:30 a.m. all the way till like 1. So I remember I was like at the end of that class and I was stretching, and I would try to do a split, like a middle split, and I had like this insane, I don't remember, maybe it was not a middle split, maybe it was a left leg split, which is like not my good leg, but I remember I was doing some form of split that I'm not the best at, and I felt like this just shooting pain, and it was so bad they gave me ice, and basically they told me I had sprained my muscles, like on top of, like on my thigh. So I went to this like doctor for athletes, and I mean, I had gotten injured before, like I had sprained ankles, and like I'd never broke a bone, but I broke ligaments before, and he helped me out a lot, and he always got me like back on my feet like as quickly as possible. And he also made sure like I started physical therapy as soon as possible, which also helped, like the physical therapy was kind of targeted in a way that you are like working your legs, but they also give you like exercises you can do to work out the rest of your body. Well, not your legs, but like your injured region. So the point is that you lose as little muscle tone as possible, like you are like not working out for like as little as possible, so you don't get like rusty. So I went to that doctor, and at first I started getting like obviously physical therapy, and I started getting treated with laser beams to try to fix my my thigh muscles. And at some point they were like, okay, your thigh muscles are not like 100% good. I remember I had just turned 18. I mean, my birthday's in April, and this happened on like probably June, maybe July. No, it was June. It was June, yeah. So I was barely 18. So like my doctor set me aside and was like, I want to talk to you about something. And I remember like I was alone. I was not with my parents, because, you know, like I was 18, so I could make that decision 100% on my own. Like my parents didn't have to be there to hear out like what he had to say. I remember it was very scary. And he told me, you know, like the laser is not working. Like we've gotten your muscle to be as good as it'll ever be. So this is it. That's it. I knew that I couldn't have like a professional career as a ballet dancer, but I had like a month before gotten offered a position to do contemporary dance. Basically, I was not offered a position. They told me like I had started dancing contemporary like 2 years. No, like no, not 2 years. It was like 8 months. So I was like strictly training ballet my whole life until like I was like probably, I'm not sure if I was like 17 or 16, and I started doing contemporary. So that was really it. I hadn't had a lot of training, so they told me like you should train, like focus way more on your contemporary training, and you can have a future here. Like we can have a spot for you. Like you have to audition, but we're really interested on you because they saw me. I don't know. I danced some contemporary things somewhere, and yeah, but they pulled me aside and told me like, your, like, yeah, the laser therapy's not working. Your muscles are as good as they'll ever be with laser therapy. The second treatment, like course of treatment for a case like yours, is to get your like muscles fixed with ultrasound therapy, which, but they told me there is a know how, but I know I want to be a mom. And at the same time, I knew that having like a career as a dancer was not such a viable option for me. So, you know, I was like, I'm not going through with this. I'll just do something else. And I mean, I still managed to do other types of workouts. I run, and I still dance, but like recreationally and not at a high level. So, yeah. So back to the story I was telling about my dissertation. I know I'm rambling a lot, but that's like the main point of Get Ready With Me Chit Chat. When I was told like I had polycystic ovaries, I was again fearing for my like reproductory health, because you know I gave up a lot just so in the future I could be a mother. And now being told like maybe like it was all for nothing because my body's doing this crazy stuff that might prevent me from being a mother, particularly because some polycystic ovaries are filled with fluid, which is like the least worst case of polycystic ovaries, because they like just go away on their own and they pop and that sort of thing. My like the cysts in my ovaries were not all just filled with fluid. Some of them were filled with tissue, which is a little bit more concerning. Like currently I'm just working with like my gynecologist and stuff. Like I have to go pay her a visit, by the way, just to see like the treatment. And of course, like the first thing I was told is like it's very normal for people your age to get polycystic ovaries. Also, you know, like that doesn't mean you won't be able to be a mother. But with all those like health problems that I faced during like the second half of 2018, I didn't have time to focus on my dissertation. Eventually what happened was that as I was working on my dissertation, a new new regulations came out on like the topic of my dissertation, which was fintech. So it was like my whole dissertation, I was like almost done. I was like 70% through with it. And basically my dissertation just went to shit. And that was it. So I really was upset about it. And I was like, what am I going to do? Because I need to do something to get my law degree. And yeah, a friend of mine, well, he was my teacher during 10th semester of college, well, law school. Here's the thing, in Mexico, college, like when you want to be a lawyer, instead of going like to a 4-year college and then like 2 years of law school, you basically do like a 5-year college that is like strictly law. But you start at 18, so you kind of get to be a lawyer at a younger age, if that makes sense. But yeah, my friend from 10th semester, he was like, you know what, like, how about I help you out with your dissertation and you do something like that it's not like related to your work, like to the job that I have, but like you love and are passionate about, and like you do it for like law and film. Because he taught law and film and I love that class, and we just have like a really good connection. We see each other all the time. So yeah, so I changed the topic of my dissertation to the rights of immigrants through film. So basically I'm using movies as an aid. So that's my goal, to finish my dissertation in the next 3 months. My hair's about to look like Hermione, so stay tuned for that. It's gonna be fun. But yeah, as I'm doing my hair, I am going to start talking about like my second New Year's resolution. And I would say, like, in order of importance, this is the second most important, and I would say it's almost, but not quite as important as finishing my dissertation, and that is starting a YouTube channel, which is right here. Yesterday I uploaded my first video and I was like so happy. I think right now it has like 10 views, so of course it's not like a big thing, but yeah, starting a YouTube channel for me was such an important thing for many reasons. I would say the first one, I always loved to create videos. I always loved editing. I also liked filming. I liked kind of like directing and like coming up with video ideas. Just in life, I love doing that. Every time I had to do some form of work, like not work, but like hand in some sort of like exposition or I don't know, something for school, I would do a video. Like I was really, I don't know, I always enjoyed it and I was good at it. So when it came down to choosing like what career I wanted to get, I was so set, like I want to be a movie editor. And I started like down that path since I was like 16 until I was like 15, 16, and at that point I went to Model United Nations at the UN headquarters, and I loved it, and I was like, oh my gosh, maybe I want to do something different. I started doing my research onto like what kind of thing I would have to do to be like an ambassador or to be a like delegate at the UN, and they were like, I was told, you know, you could study like international affairs, but usually like the most successful people are lawyers. So I was like, oh, maybe I can be a lawyer. And that's what I did. And I mean, as time went on, I realized like I didn't want to have like a career in the government, because like it's very corrupt and stuff, and I ended up working in corporate law. But yeah, like I always loved editing, I always loved creating. So I kind of promised myself, like even though I was going to be a lawyer, I would still like work hard towards, I don't know, like find a way to still make videos and edit videos, and of course like the obvious course of action would be to have a YouTube channel. However, I did started doing like a YouTube channel when I was very young, probably like 16. No, I was like 14, 15. I was very, very little. So, I don't know, but for some reason, oh my god, I stopped doing it. And I think it was mostly due to the fact that, number one, I wasn't getting like a lot of good feedback from like friends and stuff. So it kind of came out that I had a YouTube channel, and I don't know, I faced a lot of like criticism and stuff, and that's not cool. And then when I went into college, I had a boyfriend who discovered I had a YouTube channel. I uploaded like 3 videos, and I was kind of like thinking about retaking it. And I just for some reason didn't. Because, I mean, it was probably that boyfriend that was like, oh, I just covered the Pandora box. And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, I saw your YouTube channel. And he like laughed at me, and I was really embarrassed. So, I don't know. I kind of felt like I couldn't be a lawyer and a YouTuber at the same time. Like, what if it came out and stuff? So I kind of put that goal on hold. And when I graduated school, I was like, okay, like here's the deal. I have to find, I don't know how to put this, but my life felt empty because, you know, school, like college in particular, definitely takes a big, big chunk of your time. I was like, what now? Because for me, I started working in, like as an intern at a law firm in 4th semester. I was 19. So basically, I would say 80% of my career was, you know, just trying to come to terms, like trying to find time to study and work and go to school and not skip any classes. And that is really hard. Like, I finished law school. I was like, what's now? Like, I have to find ways to fill in, like, my life. Because typically I would go to school, like, in the morning, like 7 to 9 class. 9 a.m. and then I would go to work, and then I would usually have class from like 4 p.m. till 10 p.m. Sometimes it was like 4 p.m. till 8 p.m. Sometimes it was 6 p.m. till 10 p.m. So basically I had like a lot of classes all the time. Obviously I was working part-time while I was at school, and now I'm working full-time. But even with working full-time, like I still have time, particularly on the weekends, because like when I was in school, like obviously my day was taken over like by school and work from like 7 p.m. well 6 p.m. like 6 a.m. I meant that I left my house to like 11 that I got home back from like my last class. So obviously it was like taken over. So my weekends were mostly just me trying to study and like, yeah, like prepare, like do all the homework that I had to do, like read all the books that I had to read, because in law school you read a ton. I'm not sure if everywhere in the world, but in Mexico you have to read like an insane amount. I was like, now that my weekends are finally mine again, how am I going to like invest that newfound freedom? And that's when I started exploring the area of having a YouTube channel, because again, I enjoy editing videos, I enjoy filming videos, I enjoy writing videos or like planning videos a lot. That's a funny thing to say because I film mostly vlogs, but you know, but for the longest of time I didn't do it because I was insecure of what people might think, if people would make fun of me, like if people would stare at me because I was vlogging with a camera at a mall, that sort of thing, and that's not right. So for me, starting a YouTube channel is not just like, oh cool, I have a YouTube channel. It's kind of like a big milestone in my life, in the way, like, not in the way, but like in the sense that I'm facing my fear at like being judged by people, if that makes sense. Also, I'm like finding a way to bring together like all of my passions, to like be a lawyer, because I love being a lawyer, I love the work that I do, while still being able to edit and film and just plan videos, which is something that I've always liked doing since I was probably like 10. So yeah, that's the second goal, and like not goal, but like resolution, and that's why it is so important, as I was saying. And I do have to send that message to whomever's watching that, you don't have to give up on what you like. You can really try to find ways to, like through hobbies or like through the job that you have, to try to do everything that you want. And like choosing a career or getting a job doesn't mean you have to give up on everything else that you want to do or everything else that you like to do. Next semester, I'm going to start teaching a class at my law school. And that's like a very terrifying thing. Because when I was asked to teach the class, I was like, are you serious? I'm going to be like the assistant teacher. So there's like a person who's like the actual teacher, and then I'm just there to teach the classes whenever he like doesn't, or like, it's not like he doesn't want to, but whenever he can't go. So basically like the majority of the classes are taught by him. Like, well, not really. We're kind of half and half, I would say. Or I don't know. But the point is, like, I'm not the sole responsible of the subject, because that'd be very daunting. But yeah, I'm definitely frightened. So we had talked about it before, like the teacher had told me, you know, I like think it'd be great if we taught this class at some point. I was like, yeah, that's fun, whatever. You can come as a special guest, and I did last semester. I went there as a special guest, but oh my god, like when he told me like, oh, I want you to teach the class, I was like, what? Are you sure about this? Like, are you sure you think I'm like ready for it? I'm like good enough and like ready to teach the class right now. He was like, yeah, I got faith in you. So my next resolution would be to do well at that class, which I think I'm going to do well, just because I'm like excited, beyond excited to teach it. But it's like super scary, super daunting. Because, you know, the kids that I'm going to be teaching the class are pretty much my age. They're like 1 or 2 years younger than me. And the ones that are like a little bit behind in college, or like that took a gap year before going into school, they are my age. So, I mean, that's a very scary thing, because I am teaching like the like last 2 semesters of school. My New Year's resolution is kind of like just to do good, which I think I will, because I'm like thrilled, beyond thrilled to be teaching that class. Like, I'm so excited. My 4th resolution is to get back into shape. During the past, I would say 1.5 years, or maybe even 2 years, I found my passion for like jogging, like long distance running, if that makes sense. So like, I wouldn't say like super long distance, like I haven't gotten to the point where I can run a marathon. I was like running 10 kilometers and that was it. But you know, it's fun. Cardio is super good. Like, I mean, when I'm running and exercising and everything, I'm fine. Like, I can eat whatever I want and not worry a bit, because I'm burning a gajillion calories as I run. So as I was saying, I got sick. Like, I've been struggling a little bit with my health during the past, I would say 4 months, or perhaps more, maybe. No, I would say it was 4 months. So I haven't been able to work out, of course, because like if I'm not feeling well, kind of like finding the energy to work out has been hard. Lately, I've been doing better with my health, so I want to retake it. It's not really about like looking hot, but it's about being fit. To be like, I have good muscles in my body. Like, I have a body that's like a good vessel for my soul, so to speak. And I have a body that can do stuff. A strong, powerful body that's capable. Like, whenever I'm doing like exercising, even though I'm not like 100% happy with my body, or I may not think like, oh, I'm so hot, I'm like happy with my body, because I don't know. I know that if this is the body that I'm working towards, having the very best body I can have. Workout that I want to do is continue running, because I love running. Which kind of leads to this, like, it's all within the 4th resolution, but I have several like mini resolutions within the resolution, if that makes sense. I mean, it makes sense to me. So my goal for next year is to, number 1, go back to like the workout routine that I had in the sense that I kind of want to go back to like doing some form of exercise before going to bed 5 times a week. And the second one is to do cardio 3 times a week. So whether it is HIIT or, oh, in case you don't know, HIIT is high intensity interval training. So you do like crazy stuff, like not really crazy stuff, like really high intensity cardio. So you do like jumping jacks or burpees and that sort of thing. And it's very strenuous workout for like, I don't know, a minute, and then you like recover with like active rest. Yeah, so I would do like 45 minutes of that. So that's my goal, to do cardio 3 times a week at least, and to just exercise before going to bed 5 times a week. That's like the first resolution. The second resolution, which kind of goes hand in hand with the first resolution, is for me to run races. So my goal would be to run, I mean, ideally I would like to run a race a month, which, you know, considering that I'm running around like 5K to 10K, I would say like throughout the next year, like the longest race I would run would be like a 15K race. So I think I'm good. Like if I were to run a marathon, I know you cannot do a race a month that is like that high impact. But for me, that I'm running like 5K and like 10K, or like I would say 15K at the most, I think it's good to run like a race a month. However, I know that that goal is a little bit unrealistic, and I find that the problem with New Year's resolutions is that if you set your bar too high, like you're not going to be happy with the outcome, because you know you're gonna be like, oh, I'm not fulfilling the resolution, and you're gonna get like demotivated, and you're just gonna like stop doing it and like abandon your goals. So it's better to set like smaller goals that you can actually fulfill. So I'm gonna go with, my goal is to run 6 races next year, and hopefully, or try to make it like the most charity races, like most races that I run are charity, because helping people is a good thing, and it's also like an important thing to do. My third fitness goal would involve to like, I don't know, the typical goals that you set yourself when you're a runner, if that's a thing. So it's like to do better times, to run more distance. My fitness goal for like distance as a runner for next year is to get to 10K. Ideally, I would want to get to 15K, but you know what? Again, I gotta set myself realistic goals, and I'm not like 100% with my health yet, so I have to be like, I don't want to say careful, but yeah, realistic, so that I don't get injured. And I haven't worked out in like 2 months. Like I haven't had a run in like 2 months, so I have to like take it nice and slow so I don't get injured. And now for my times, I would think like my times are focused more in like the 5 kilometer area, so to speak. And in that area, I would like to break the 30-minute mark, because for some reason, like it doesn't matter how fast I run, I've never been able to run less than 30 minutes. Actually, that's a lie. I once ran like 28, but for me, running less than 30 has been quite a difficult endeavor. So that's my goal for 2019, to run 5K in under 30 minutes. So that is it for like my fourth resolution and kind of like my fitness resolutions all together. My next resolution has to do with literature and art. So, generally speaking, I would say my resolution is to become more involved with art. So, I'm gonna do that in three ways. First of all, it's going to be to try to read more books, um, because reading books is fun. And I mean, I've always loved reading. I just have a hard time finding the time to read. So my goal is to read at least one book a month. Like I used to be like reading probably like 2 books a week when I was like in high school, and my life was easier. My second resolution, like mini resolution within the resolution, also has to do with literature, and it is to finish writing a book. Here's the thing, I've been writing for the longest of time because I love to write. I kind of, instead of like keeping a journal, I just write novels or like stories, and that's how I cope with my feelings. It's weird, but somehow, like, it makes it easier to deal with your feelings to just put them out there without really having to talk about them. And also for me, it's kind of easier to just like have a random character feel like my feelings for me, so I don't have to feel them for a little bit, and then I kind of visit that book when I'm ready to feel them. So that's how I deal with. But I barely ever, like, I haven't yet to finish. I've only finished like 2 books in my whole entire life. Like I don't really write to publish. I just write to cope with my feelings, if that makes sense. And I would say my last mini resolution within the like art resolution, I would say, is to visit more museums. I know like that's weird like resolution to have, but Mexico is like filled with museums, and I don't visit them as like, I love going to museum, and honestly I don't visit them as much as I should, or like as I would like to. So yeah, my goal is to visit more museums. I only have like 2 resolutions left. Actually, yeah, 2. So my next resolution um, has to do with my heart. So I had like one that has to do with my body, one that has to do with my mind, and now one that has to do with my heart. So my goal for like my resolution for 2017, that's close to my heart, is to spend more time with my family and friends, but especially my family. Because for the longest of time, I kind of had my family a little bit like, I don't want to say forgotten, but yeah, kind of like forgotten. Mostly due to the fact that, like I said, I've been like in school. I was so busy because, you know, I was busy from like during the weekdays. I never saw them. Like from like 6 a.m. that I left the house for 7 a.m. class till like, oh, maybe it was like 6:30 till like 11 or 10:30 that I, like p.m. that I got home. So I barely have time. Like I barely had time to be with them, and on weekends I was like always busy, like just studying, like for tests and like doing homework and stuff like I had previously said. So now that I'm like out of school, I definitely have like no excuse and like to not spend time with my family. So my next New Year's Eve resolution, like New Year's resolution, is to spend more time with my family. Like even though they don't want to, I'm going to have to like wake up and drag myself out of bed early in the weekend so I can like spend time with them, and also like to kind of almost drag them too to like be like get out of bed and spend time with me. I don't know, like just make sure I make like more of an effort to spend time with my family. The older I get, the more I realize that family is everything. Like so many times like that I've struggled, I've gotten my heart broken, I get in fights with my friends. Like it's a consistent, like you're gonna have great friends, but you know friends can disappoint you, and I'm not saying that your family can't, but in my own personal experience, like even though sometimes like no family's perfect, like in the roughest moments of my life, my family has been there for me. So yeah, that is my, is it 4th or 5th or 6th? I don't know. So that's my next New Year's resolution, just to spend more time with my family. I do have to clarify a little bit though that like I am not putting this like in first place as like finishing my dissertation or like creating my YouTube channel and stuff, because like working really hard on my YouTube channel. Not because family is less important than YouTube or other type stuff, but because I think I like, out of all my resolutions, like I'm not really lacking that much in the family department. So like even though I could spend more time with my family and stuff like that, it's not like I have them completely off and like completely forgotten. So I think I'm like good in that. Like I'm not good, I'm not doing like awesome and great, so I could be doing better, but I'm not doing that bad. So that's why like spending time with my family is not like in first place in my resolutions, just because I do spend time with my family. I just need to spend more time with them. But these are like the minor resolutions. So there are things that I want to work on, but at the same time are not that important. So the first one is to get to work earlier. So I don't know, I just had like this very weird habit because my former boss, he used to get like to work super late. So I kind of grew into that poor habit of not like getting late to work just because I cannot wake up. But he'd get like there at like 1 p.m. and he would leave like at 3 p.m. or like 3 a.m. I mean the next day. So he was like just very nocturnal, and he gave me that bad habit. It's a habit that I want to break because I don't enjoy being nocturnal, first of all, and second of all, like that boss is not there anymore. So yeah, I need to work better and harder in like that department. It's just so hard because I mean I worked with him for like 3 years, so for me to like really be like, okay, change of plans, now I'm like not doing this, is really difficult. Last resolution, which is like a very stupid thing, but it's to just have more fun and kind of like don't take things so seriously. I mean, definitely there's things that like you just have to take seriously, but not all of them, you know? So my goal is to not take things that don't have to be taken seriously too seriously. And that, my friends, is it. So I'm not quite done with my makeup, but I'm definitely done. Oh my gosh, I do look scary right now. But I'm definitely done talking about like my New Year's resolutions, and that was like the whole point of this video. So now I'm going to finish doing my makeup in the car, and yeah, that's it. If you're watching this, I mean I keep saying this because just like it's a very new channel, very few people would probably come across these videos, but thank you so much for watching, and comment down below what are your New Year's resolutions. And please, if you want to see more content, like more vlogs and also some videos like about me sharing Mexican cultures and traditions with you guys, subscribe to my channel and turn on post notifications. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and yeah, see you later.